Hello, I'm going to show you a few different ways to work with and solve the question 723 divided by 4. 723 is our dividend, 4 is our divisor, and we are looking for the quotient. Our first step is to estimate what the quotient could be. To do that, let's make 723 a bit more friendly of a number by changing 723 to 720. And to even make that more friendly to work with, we'll change that down to 72. So to find an estimation, I'm going to work with multiplication to figure out what times 4 equals 72. So we know that 4 times 15 equals 60 because it's easy to count 15, 30, 45, 60. But that's not quite 72, so we need to keep working up. 4 times 16 equals 64. 4 times 17 equals 68. 4 times 18 equals 72. That's what we were looking for. So because we know that 4 times 18 equals 72, we then know that 4 times 180 equals 720. So 180 will be our estimate for this question. I'm going to show how to solve 723 divided by 4 with blocks. So first we have our blocks all sorted out. We have 7 100s, 2 10s, and 3 1s. And we have 4 groups, which we get from our divisor. So we know 7 does not go into 4 equally, but we can pull 4 100s and put them into the groups evenly. That leaves us with 3 100s left over. So what we have to do is take the 100 and split it into tens. So we are going to do that. And then we get rid of the 100. And then we split the tens amongst the groups equally. That leaves us with 2 tens left over from that 100 block. We take this 100 and split it up again into tens. We get rid of the 100. That leaves us with 2 tens left over again. And we can see that we have 4 now, 4 tens. So we can split that evenly between the 4 groups. And now we only have 100 left over, so let's split him up. We get rid of the 100 and split its tens into the groups again. And from that 100, we have 2 tens left over again. And we can see all together now that we have 4 tens left over. 2 from that last 100 and 2 from the original equation here, the original 723. So we're going to take those 4 tens and split them evenly. And lastly, we have our 3 1s. And we know 3 does not go into 4 evenly. So the answer to the question we know now is 100 and 180, remainder 3. Because we can count this up. We have 8 tens and 100 in each group. So that's 180, remainder 3. Our next step is to show a pictorial and symbolic versions of solving this question, 723 divided by 4. We know from working with the blocks that 7 100s cannot be shared equally among 4 groups. We can at least take 4 of the 100s and separate those amongst the 4 groups. We know that 1 100 went into each of the 4 groups, so we put 1 up here to symbolize that, and take 4 away from the initial 7 100s, which leaves us with 3. We bring down the 2 from the tens place, and we see now that we should have 32 tens in total. Over here, I will work out breaking down the hundreds into tens and separating them amongst the groups. All of the 32 tens were able to be equally distributed amongst the groups, and there are 8 tens amongst the 4 groups. Therefore, we put an 8 up here to symbolize that, and take the 32 away. We are left with the 3 in the ones place, and we know that 3 cannot be equally distributed amongst 4 groups. To symbolize that, we put a 0 up here, and because we have nothing to take away from the 3, that means that is our remainder. And the answer is 180 remainder 3. Our last step is to share a personal strategy to solve this question, 723 divided by 4. This looks similar to the standard algorithm, but it is a little different in practice. So first we look for a number that is divisible by 4 that is as close as we can think of to 723. My first number is 400, so we write the 400 here and mark down that we use 100 times 4 to get that. You don't have to write that down each time, I just want to make sure I'm clear where I'm getting that number from. 723 minus 400 equals 323. Our next number that we can fit into 323 that is divisible by 4 is 200, and I use 50 times 4 to get that. So I put 50 here. 323 minus 200 equals 123. We know that 4 times 25 equals 100, so I put the 100 here and the 25 there. 123 minus 100 equals 23. Lastly, we know that 4 times 5 equals 20, so I put the 20 here and the 5 here. We have 3 left over, and we know there isn't any number divisible by 4 that can be subtracted away from 3, so we just leave it for now. Next, we add all the numbers on the side here to find our answer. 100 plus 50 equals 150, and 25 plus 5 equals 30. Add those numbers together and we get 180. We put 180 at the top and carry over our leftover 3 to make the answer 180 remainder 3.